Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to, well, truly being well-informed. And today, we're really plunging into something that I think can fundamentally transform things for you. Not just how you sound in English, but how you connect, maybe even how you think. We're talking advanced vocabulary. Our mission really is to give you a powerful linguistic toolkit, move you beyond those basic phrases, get you to a place where you feel naturally fluid and confident when you communicate. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like, okay, English, you get it, you can make your point, but you still don't sound quite well yourself? Like there's this expressive layer just waiting.
Oh, absolutely. That's a really common feeling for language learners because fluency, that feeling of sounding natural, sounding precise, it's not just about having enough words. It's about mastering the right ones. Those smart, sharp, really expressive words that native speakers often use, maybe without even thinking. They use them to get nuance across. So this deep dive, it's all about introducing you to powerful, smarter alternatives. Instead of just saying good or bad or big all the time, we want to help you communicate with, much greater precision and impact. It's like you said, vocabulary that doesn't just relay information, it actually shapes ideas.
I love that crowning it shapes ideas. Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's lay the groundwork for really enhancing your spoken English, your written English too. We're going to upgrade some common expressions, give you those powerful alternatives we talked about. All right, first up, articulate. Now, this one's interesting. It can be an adjective or a verb. Basically, it means you're able to express thoughts clearly, effectively. So instead of saying maybe she's good at talking, you could say she's incredibly articulate when discussing complex topics. Much better.
It is. And articulate goes beyond just clarity. It's not just being understood. It implies your thoughts are well organized, yes, but also that you deliver them with a certain conviction, clarity of mind. Someone articulate doesn't just talk. They really convey their ideas precisely. They shape them.
That's a great distinction. Really key. And speaking of shaping ideas, sometimes those ideas involve a bit of a challenge, don't they?
Yeah.
Which brings us neatly to conundrum. That's a noun. And this isn't just any old problem. A conundrum is confusing, often difficult, a perplexing problem. Like deciding between two great job offers is a real conundrum.
Exactly. Using conundrum immediately flags it as something intellectually tricky. It's not just a bump in the road. It's a knotty issue, maybe one with no easy answer. It forces you to think deeper, make a tough choice, adds a bit of weight.
Yeah, weight is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, ubiquitous, adjective. If something's ubiquitous, it's not just everywhere. It's more like it's so common, so widely present, it feels almost inescapable or, universally integrated. Like the example, smartphones are ubiquitous in today's society.
Yeah, and what's interesting about ubiquitous is that suggestion of pervasive presence. It's something so ingrained, so part of the fabric, we might not even notice it anymore. We take it for granted. It implies a deeper integration than just saying everywhere.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Deeper integration. And speaking of integration, getting these words into your natural speech, that leads us to eloquent. Another really good adjective. Eloquent means fluent and persuasive in speaking or writing. So much better than just nice speaker. Think about it. His speech was so eloquent, it brought the audience to tears.
Yes. And when we say eloquent, it's not just about using fancy vocabulary. It's about the way you communicate, moving people, connecting emotionally, intellectually. It's about the power, maybe the grace, expression that really inspires or affects people deeply.
Beautifully put. Okay, moving to how we describe someone who pays really close attention to details. We have meticulous. Adjective. This isn't just being careful. It describes someone showing painstaking, really thorough, precise attention to the tiniest details. She's meticulous when it comes to organizing files.
Right. Meticulous signals a very high standard, a serious commitment to precision. It suggests a thoroughness way beyond just being careful, almost a perfectionist sometimes.
Yeah, you can picture that person immediately. Now, for something that captures how quickly things can pass, ephemeral. Adjective. It means lasting a very short time. So instead of just short-lived, you could say, fame on social media can be ephemeral.
Ephemeral often has this delicate, almost poetic feel, doesn't it? It talks about the transient nature, maybe the beauty, maybe the significance of something that's just fleeting. It makes it sound more evocative than just saying it was brief.
As we go through these, it really strikes me. These words don't just add to your vocabulary. They really refine how you see things.
They absolutely do. Couldn't agree more. Each one is like a sharper lens. You view and describe the world differently, more precisely. It enriches everything. And that brings us nicely to candid, another adjective, meaning honest and straightforward. So a great alternative to just honest. I appreciate your candid feedback.
Needed.
Candid suggests a certain unreserved directness, a frankness, maybe even a bit blunt sometimes, but it's always authentic, no pretense, speaking your mind clearly, often without, sugarcoating it.
I appreciate that candid explanation. Okay, next, if you want to make something less severe, less intense, you alleviate it. Verb. So meditation helps alleviate stress.
That's a bit more sophisticated than just reduce stress.
It does. Alleviate implies bringing relief, right? Lessening a burden, easing pain or suffering. It often connects to discomfort, problems, focusing on making a bad situation more bearable, not just shrinking a number.
Good point. Now, what if something isn't clear? It could be interpreted in different ways. It's ambiguous. His answer was ambiguous. I still don't know what he meant.
Yeah.
That feels much more nuanced than simply saying unclear.
Indeed. Ambiguous suggests maybe a deliberate lack of clarity, or perhaps a situation that genuinely can be seen in multiple ways. It could imply someone's being evasive, or maybe just that reality itself is complex, resists a simple answer.
Right. Now, someone who's clever understands things quickly, especially in a practical sense. They're astute. She's an astute businesswoman. That sounds much sharper, more insightful than just smart. Totally. Astute carries this sense of keen perception. Practical intelligence often implies shrewdness, like a sharp ability to assess situations, make good judgments. It's about being perceptive, discerning.
Okay, here's a word I just love the sound of. Serendipity. Noun. It means finding something good, something fortunate, without even looking for it. Meeting her at the airport was pure serendipity. So much nicer than just a lucky moment.
No, serendipity really captures that charm, doesn't it? The unexpected, fortunate discovery. It's about happy accidents, those unplanned positive things. It suggests a delightful twist of fate, not just random luck, almost magical, really.
Yeah, it does feel a bit magical. Okay, next one. If something only seems true on the surface, until you examine it more closely, it's superficial? The changes were only superficial, nothing really improved? Again, much more precise than just saying, not deep.
Exactly. Superficial really highlights that lack of depth, lack of substance. It describes something existing only at the surface level. It suggests maybe a facade, an appearance that doesn't match the underlying reality.
Mm-hmm. And for describing someone or even something, it can bounce back from difficulties. We use resilient, adjective. Children are often more resilient than we think. It speaks to that inner strength, doesn't it?
It really does. Resilient emphasizes the capacity to recover, to adapt when things get tough. It's about flexibility, toughness, that ability to spring back after being stretched or pressured.
And someone who works hard, but also carefully, diligent. He's a diligent student who always meets deadlines. That's a fantastic way to describe a hard worker. Adds more texture.
Yes, diligent describes someone who applies persistent, conscientious effort, shows thoroughness, unwavering attention to duty. It implies real commitment, a systematic approach. Not just effort, but careful effort.
Okay, and the last one for this first big set.
Yeah.
Enigmatic. Adjective, meaning mysterious, difficult to understand. She gave me an enigmatic smile. It sounds much more intriguing than just strange or mysterious, right?
Definitely. Enigmatic evokes this sense of puzzle, of intrigue. It suggests a mysterious quality that kind of captivates you, makes you want to figure it out. Not just odd or weird, it implies hidden depths, maybe a fascinating ambiguity.
Wow, okay, just running through those. You can really feel how they expand your ability to express yourself, can't you? It's not just about, knowing the definitions.
Precisely. They're not just ticks on a word list. They're tools for thinking, tools for communicating with more sophistication.
Okay, so now we've got this great list, but knowing the words is just step one, isn't it? Using them fluently, really making them yours. That's the real game changer. That's where the power lies.
Indeed it is. These words, they aren't just for sounding, smart or academic in an essay. They're for more precise, more effective, and frankly, more natural communication in everyday life, in real situations. But to truly integrate them, it does take a conscious shift. You have to actively engage with the language differently. Maybe we can talk about a few practical ways to move from just recognizing them to actually using them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get practical.
Okay, first thing, start small. Don't try to use all 15 at once. Make a deliberate effort maybe to use just one new word each day. In conversation, maybe in an email, whatever. And don't worry if it feels a bit forced or awkward at first. That's totally normal. It's part of the process. You're building new habits, new pathways. So maybe today, you just focus on using, say, ubiquitous when you talk about social media.
Right. Just one a day. Manageable.
Exactly. Second, actively practice writing sentences with them. This isn't like a school exercise. It's about context. Keep a simple journal, maybe. Write about your day, your thoughts, hypothetical stuff, whatever. But consciously try to weave in a couple of these words, like describe a tricky decision you made as a conundrum. Writing forces you to engage more deeply with the meaning, the usage.
Okay. Writing helps embed it. Makes sense.
And third, something called shadowing or just active listening. When you listen to, well, a deep dive like this one, or a speech, or even just conversations around you, pay attention to how native speakers use these kinds of advanced words. Notice the context, the flow. Then, and this is the key part, try repeating some phrases or sentences you hear. Mimic the rhythm, the intonation. It builds muscle memory for actually speaking them naturally. You internalize the flow. It's observation, then imitation, leading to integration.
Those are fantastic tips. Really actionable. It's not just about memorizing. It's about transforming through practice. Okay, so here's a challenge for your listening. We really encourage you, engage with this new vocabulary right away. Just choose three. 3 words from the ones we discussed today. Maybe the 3 that stuck out most or you found most interesting. And this week, make a conscious effort. Try to incorporate them into your everyday language, your notes, your chats. See how they feel. See how they elevate your expression. Give it a go. All right, let's move on to our second set. These might feel a bit more familiar, but using them well is crucial for fluency. Let's start with essential, meaning very important. Simple, right? Water is essential for life.
Crucial word, and often underused in favor of just important. Essential implies necessity, something you can't do without.
Good point. Next, impressive, causing admiration. Her English accent is very impressive.
Yes, impressive conveys that wow factor, something that makes you take notice and admire the skill or quality.
And accurate. Correct, without mistakes. Your answer is accurate. Vital for clear communication.
Absolutely. Precision again. Not just close, but spot on.
How about frustrated? That feeling of being annoyed because of difficulties. I feel frustrated when I forget words. We've all been there.
Oh, definitely. A very common emotion in language learning. Acknowledging it is important.
Eventually. Meaning after a long time, or in the end. Don't give up. You'll speak fluently eventually. Offers hope.
It does. It implies a process, a journey, but with a destination in sight if you persist.
Motivate. To give energy or reason to do something. This deep dive motivates me to study every day. We hope so.
Yes. Motivation is the fuel. Finding what motivates you is key.
And feeling confident, sure of yourself. He is confident while speaking English. That's a major goal for many.
Huge goal. Confidence often grows with competence, but sometimes you need to fake it till you make it too.
Good advice. Rapidly. Very fast. She is rapidly improving her English skills. Shows quick progress.
Rapidly highlights the speed of change, which can be very motivating to see or experience.
Observe. To notice or watch carefully. I observe how native speakers talk. Key learning strategy.
Passive exposure isn't enough. Active observation, like we discussed with shadowing, makes a difference.
Improves to make something better. I'm trying to improve my grammar. The core of learning.
Constant improvement. Small steps add up.
Expand. To grow or increase. Reading books helps you expand your vocabulary. Crucial for getting these new words.
Absolutely. Reading, listening. Constantly seeking new input to expand your base.
Fluent. Smooth and natural speech. I want to be fluent in English. The ultimate aim for many.
Though fluency itself can be debated, that feeling of ease and naturalness is what most people mean.
Situations. Circumstances or context. Learn how to respond in real-life situations, making it practical.
Context is everything. Knowing a word isn't useful if you can't use it in the right situation.
Frequently. Often, many times. You must practice speaking frequently. Repetition matters.
Yes, frequency builds habits and makes recall faster.
And finally, communicate. To express ideas clearly. We learn English to communicate better. That's the whole point, right?
That's the ultimate goal. Connection, understanding, sharing ideas. That's why we do it.
Right. So we've covered quite a few words now, both the more advanced and some core ones. And we talked about those integration strategies, using one a day, writing, shadowing. It really boils down to active use, doesn't it?
It really does. Passive knowledge is one thing, active command is another. You have to bridge that gap consciously.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, remember, expanding your vocabulary isn't just about sounding smarter. It's about gaining new tools. Tools for clarity, for impact, and ultimately new confidence in how you communicate. It really is a simple equation, but the results can be profound. New words equal new confidence.
And maybe one final thought for you to mull over as you go about your week. Think beyond just sounding more articulate or fluent, important as that is. How might expanding your vocabulary actually open up entirely new ways of thinking, new ways of perceiving the world? When you have more precise words, you can not just communicate ideas you already have, you can actually shape them with greater depth, maybe even discover new ideas, simply through having the language to frame them.
Wow, that's powerful. Shaping ideas through language itself. Something to really chew on. Powerful indeed. Thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive today. Keep learning, keep exploring, keep putting those words into practice, and we'll be here with more insights for your next deep dive.
Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe for more English learning videos. See you in the next lesson.